Hello and welcome back to the channel, friends. It's good to be here and I hope you're doing well. Say, version 1.2.10 of Terracards just dropped recently, like real recently, and there are some exciting new changes that I'd like to go over in a quick update video here. So, first and foremost, you're probably noticing a little re-imaging of the theme. That is right, the winter theme is gone. That means no more cute hats on the cows. No more snowy islands, no more of that kind of holiday winter theme vibe, including frozen lakes. So those are gone, folks. But we have a new card to feature. We have a few new features to kind of go over. We have some adjustments. We have a new mechanic to briefly discuss. There's a new effect added to an existing card. And there's a few other things that we're going to cover, including some nerfs. So this episode has you covered on all the changes in 1.2.10. And we're going to just start a new farm here. We're going to call this 1.2.10, obviously. So let's get into it and let's see what has changed. So first and foremost, probably something that I'm the most excited about is there is a new card, like I said. And the new card is the Giant Sheep. The Giant Sheep is like a Yeti, Gorilla, Sheep combo. Just massive, just gargantuan. Looks cool, and its effect is even cooler. Check this out. So the Giant Sheep is going to eat all of the wheat's production in adjacent islands and produce equivalent to the number of wheats eaten. Gives you a base 5 wool and it eats 1 wheat, costs 55 water, occupies 4 slots. So my mind is already going kind of crazy thinking about how to utilize this giant sheep. I wonder how frequent it will be, like how often it will show up. Because obviously I see a very strong build just surrounding it with wheat, getting a cutter and a loom in place, and just letting it go and produce, you know, an entire wardrobe of fabric for you in one single turn. Definitely an interesting card. Probably going to be doing a video on the Giant Sheep next. I'm just really eager to check it out and see how broken it potentially is. So that is the Giant Sheep. That is the new card that we are featuring. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below on what you're thinking of the Giant Sheep. Pretty darn cool if you ask me. So another tweak that is in the update notes here is hovering over a structure that has combos is going to show its range. So it's hard to display this right now without an actual structure. But let's say we have a juicer right here, right? The juicer is a 1 island structure. So it's going to affect the 4 adjacent islands touching it. So if you hover over that juicer, it will cause the 4 islands that it affects, including the one it's on, to light up. So that will help you plot your production chains a little more effectively, which is really cool. I think it's a good quality of life feature for sure, especially for newer players. There's a new mechanic that I don't fully understand yet, but it's saying that some structures may have resource costs for each output they generate. So what that to me means, if a fermenter makes wine, for example, the production of that wine itself will cost, I don't know, fuel or energy, in addition to the energy that the building already costs. So this actually does, if it operates in the way that I'm ideating about right there, it actually does kind of nerf your builds overall, and it's going to cause a need to just have much higher overall resource quantities, right? And surpluses as well. So that's something to consider when I get into a playthrough with this new version. I'm sure we will encounter that. We'll keep our eyes out for that. Another one, so on the front menu, a Discord button was added. That is your link to the Terracards Discord server. Come on in. I'm in there. There's a bunch of other people in there. The developers are in there as well. That's where you get your notification of game updates and so forth. This is, of course, 1.2.10, meaning that this isn't the 1.3 update. So the 1.3 update is a significant one. The developers did say that 1.3 is on its way. It'll be here soon. So we're excited for that. That's obviously a much lengthier update video, but I did want to cover the few things that changed here. So moving on, there is a new effect for the black sheep. So the black sheep obviously gives plus 30 production if no other sheep are on the same island. And now it's going to try to destroy adjacent island wheats, and it gets plus 5 production per try. So this is another thing that kind of goes with wheat expansion, right? If the sheep is successful and destroys the wheat expansion can fill it back in. It actually makes the black sheep kind of low-key strong as well. So maybe there's a play with the black sheep as well as it relates to wheat expansion and sort of maximizing this black wool production. Black wool, of course, still does not have a processing form. So that is the black sheep. The lakes themselves are not frozen anymore. So let's find the lake here. There it is. So back to the standard looking lake. And it can still hold animals, but it can only hold crabs now. So apparently it can't hold penguins. In fact, I believe the penguin's still there. Okay, so penguins have to go in fences is how I read this. But the lakes can still hold your crabs. So that's a call out right there. No more placing cows on frozen lakes, of course. We would not want to drown our sweet and lovely little cow friends that are no longer wearing Santa hats. Another, you could call this a nerf for sure, but the Christmas tree has the same property of tripling the value of items made in adjacent islands. However, much like Arboreal Bounty, you can only have one per island. So keep that in mind. I mean, obviously, it's absolutely busted to have an entire island of 16 Christmas trees. This is reduced to just one per island. I think it's a good change. It really takes something that's incredibly overpowered out of the game, which I think is a good change, just for balance. Speaking of things that balance the game out a little bit, so tropical soil has been tweaked as well. That is an essence reward. I would have to get lucky and get it to display it here for you. But the details are, value of items made by crops is increased by double its water cost. Instead of just a flat plus 12 to just crop items. Right, so it's increased double to its water cost. So there are some very high water cost items that will benefit even greater from this. And then there will be some more mid things like wheat and carrots and the like that will be harmed by this. Right, so my mind goes to like giant carrot, right? That's 50 water cost, so that's plus 100 to its value of the carrots it's producing, which is pretty good, especially if you have a really beastly giant carrot. So maybe there's a play there in the future, tropical soil, giant carrot. And then also sugarcane, of course. Sugarcane gets insane production when up against structures, but it also gets an insane water cost associated with it too. So a few different things to play around with, of course, as it relates to tropical soil. For fuel grapes, and this is one I have been anticipating for a while just because of the sheer power of the fuel grapes. Long gone now, folks, are the days where you can just go with the fuel grapes build and just completely bust and destroy the game and make $1 trillion in 180 turns. Those days are gone now, folks. And the reason being is because the fuel cost of fuel grapes is now 90 times the amount of grapes on the entire farm. The production is still equivalent to the fuel surplus, of course, so it has the same property. So that's good. That's still effective and familiar. It's just the fuel cost for the grapes has been greatly increased. So what this means to me is you can definitely go fuel grape still and get some good production out of it. However, you're going to have to be careful because you don't want too many grape plants, right? So the elixir slime fuel grapes build that has been done several times on this channel and I'm sure on other channels as well, that's not really going to work anymore because that's going to produce too many grape plants and your fuel production just simply will not be able to keep up. It's funny, I loaded a save, the save where I made $1 trillion in 181 turns. I loaded into that, and obviously the updates took effect, and I was like minus 42 million fuel because I had so many great plants. So I think it's still an effective essence reward. You're just going to have less overall great plants. Meaning don't go elixir slime, just draw them naturally and be careful with your fuel as you're placing them. Because 90 times per plant will be your fuel upkeep cost. That's 1,440 fuel per island of 16 grapes, folks. So keep that in mind for your future field grapes builds. And then our pal, our buddy, the Easter Bunny has also been nerfed. So previously, the Easter Bunny made all production of adjacent island crops into chocolate bars, which is very, 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 very strong. Now it's been reduced to just carrots, but notice it's regular carrots, electric carrots even, and giant carrots. Giant carrots right there. So it's actually still pretty strong, I believe. The Easter Bunny giant carrot is a pretty good combo. And if you're going with a carrot heavy build, it makes sense to go Easter Bunny for sure. I think it makes it a little more feasible. It's less of a card that you can just select to come in and bail you out. This channel has definitely done that before. But yeah, the Easter Bunny has been nerfed as well. There are also a few other small fixes that just fix some issues. Nothing really about like the structural pathing. Nothing really about like some of the bugs I've seen with maybe the centrifuge or the oven, or things that just stop producing, or structures eating your production and, you know, you not being able to sell it. Nothing really on that. It's just kind of a general statement of just some weird bugs that aren't worth mentioning that have been fixed. So that pretty much wraps up the 1.2.10 update, folks. Definitely excited about the giant sheep. I think the nerfs that they put, especially with field grapes, make a lot of sense. I think the nerf to the Easter Bunny makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's sad to see it go, but this is a new era of Terracards here, folks, and I think it makes a lot of sense. It's going to challenge us just a little bit more, and we're not going to have that bailout, you know, field grapes essence reward or Easter Bunny to come and save the day, of course. So that details the changes. I'm going to end the video here, but I did want to get on quick and just kind of update you fine folks on what's going on in the Terracards realm. Keep your eyes peeled for the 1.3 update, which is reportedly going to be a very big one. It's going to be very huge. Lots of new changes, lots of new features, you know, characters, achievements, all that kind of stuff. Stay tuned right here to this channel, and I'll keep you nice and updated on the happenings in the Terracards realm. So with that being said, I'm going to end the video here. Thank you so much. If you enjoyed the content, I mean, I realize there's no playthrough here, but if you want to take a look at some of the other playthroughs on the channel and you enjoy that content, please consider becoming a subscriber to the channel. Love to have you join the community that we are building. That said, look for another video soon on the fresh 1.2.10. I think I'm going to do a giant sheep build. I mean, I kind of gotta. So I'm going to get working on that. You folks have a fine day or night wherever in the world you're at, and we will catch you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.